Well, good evening. Not only do you get me once in the day, you get me twice. And if you watch the Claret and Booze show later on, you'll have me 3 times on the same day. Isn't that amazing, eh? I hope you're all well. After the show I did earlier on today about Duje Caleta-Car and various players and youngsters, etc., thought I'd do a bit of an update with some of the news that's been breaking out earlier today about this £50 million striker that we're apparently going to buy. And who could it be? I mean, it's a mystery, but when you sort of think about it and you try and make it a little bit logical, there seems to be like perhaps 3 players that it could be about, but I've sort of come to the conclusion that it's just one in particular. Let me get rid of that rubbish because we get people who come on scamming. So good. I hope you can all hear me, because usually you can't, which is a problem. I've got to be a bit quick because I'm going to be on Claret and Booze later on as well. Hang on a minute. Good grief, we're getting a lot of scams, so I've got to get rid of them as I'm going along. Let's get on with it, shall we? Because there are potentially 3 players, this £50 million mystery striker bid, that the bids can be about. Let's start off with the obvious ones first. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We know that Everton are kind of a bit in trouble, and apparently earlier in the week there was a suggestion that Calvert-Lewin could be sold for something like £60 million. It could be him, but I'm just sort of not sure. I'm not sure if, even though Everton are beginning to look like a selling club, I'm not sure they'll want to get rid of one of their prize assets. So even though I think Calvert-Lewin could probably be a good addition to West Ham United, I'm not so sure it's him. Then we look at Bayer Leverkusen's Patrick Schick. Now, very good player, but I don't think Schick would be. We'd have to pay as much as £50 million for Schick. I think he could be worth anything up to about £35 to £40 million. Look, Bayer Leverkusen are doing really well in German Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen is also involved in European football, and I'm not so sure Bayer Leverkusen will want to sell their prize asset. But the same goes for the player I think we might be linked to, and here's the reason why. Earlier this week, Anthony Martial went on loan for the rest of this season to Sevilla. Who plays for Seville? Youssef En-Nesyri, and that's why I'm beginning to put 2 and 2 together. You know what it's like. You put 2 and 2 together, and you start coming up with all the wrong answers. But I'm gonna really speculate, go out on a limb and speculate here. And I think the reason why I think the player that we're kind of linked to is El-Nesyri. We know that Moyes put in a bid for him last summer, and it was turned down. Apparently, El-Nesyri came out and suggested that he didn't want to play for West Ham United and he wanted to stay where he was, because at that time Sevilla were in the Champions League, etc. And that makes total sense. But let's look at El-Nesyri and look at where he is in his football now. So let's look at his profile. He's a Moroccan international. He was part of the Mohammed VI Academy in Morocco. And during the academy years, he moved to Malaga. But then quickly on, he moved to, he was sold to Leganés in 2018 for £5.4 million. And then in 2020, Sevilla came looking and they bought him for a fee of 18 million. He operates as a central striker, but he can play on either wing as well. He's classed as a little bit of a fox in the box type of player. His preference is a central striking role. 6'2", an obvious aerial threat. He's got a great footballing IQ, great dribbling skills, great ball skills, a player that will lead from the front and defend from the front, and someone that perhaps would suit the West Ham style of play. En-Nesyri, his career stats so far: when he was at Malaga, he made 41 appearances, scoring just 5 goals with 1 assist. He then moved to Leganés, 53 appearances, 15 goals, and 4 assists. And then Sevilla, 88 appearances so far, with 33 goals and 2 assists. As you can see, he's got La Liga, Europa League, and Moroccan, and he's a Moroccan international. Now, look, the reason why, I mean, a lot of these, it's all speculation, isn't it? And anyway, the £50 million bid has been turned down anyway. But the reason why I'm sort of wondering whether it might be him is because of the fact that Martial, who's moved to Sevilla. But Sevilla are second in the league at the moment. They're looking for Champions League qualification again this season. They're in the playoffs of the current Europa League ties, and they're playing Dinamo Zagreb on the 17th and 24th of February. Now, he hasn't had a great season. If you go back to that second image I just showed you, this season, I haven't got it up actually. I've got to put it up. But this season alone, he's only played a handful of games. He's missed quite a number of games because of knee injuries and because of muscle injuries. Missed 12 games in total this season, and he's only scored a couple of goals. So Anthony Martial coming in is a possibility to replace El-Nesyri because he has been out injured. Look, he's out with Morocco at the moment. He's on international duty with Morocco. They won their table in the AFCON. They're through to the quarterfinals after beating Malawi 2-1, and El-Nesyri has been scoring for them as well. So I'm just wondering, are Sevilla now looking at potentially moving the player on because of the number of games he's missed this season, because of the what they're trying to do? They're trying to qualify for Champions League again. They're trying to get back into Europe. They are in the knockout stages of the Europa League as well. Or could it be that they're being clever and they're actually bringing in Martial as an alternative to when they need to El-Nesyri? Look what Martial did when he came on against us in the game against Man United last week. So go back, Calvert-Lewin, could it be? I'm not so sure. I don't think Everton will be looking to sell him, but again, money talks, and you never know. Schick, I'd love Schick to come to West Ham United. Coming in and playing alongside the other Czech internationals at the club, it could be a possibility. I think Schick, would fit in our style of play. I think he would be a good target man. He can play as a lone target man. He's a good link-up player between midfield and attack. We saw his qualities in Europe, the European Championships in the summertime. He's a good player. He's an experienced player. But I think my money's on El-Nesyri. I think if a deal can be done, then perhaps he might be on his way to West Ham United. Of course, it's just speculation. We're not in the knows and so on. But if you look at the players, there's only one other player actually that we could bid £50 million for, and I was sent it as a joke earlier on, and he plays for Spurs. So not even going to put his image up because it was a joke. But those are the three players that I think that could potentially be a link up to West Ham and that £50 million mystery bid. But of the three, Calvert-Lewin, Schick, and El-Nesyri, mainly because we've gone in for the En-Nesyri before. Moyes put in a bid for him, but £50 million, I think it's a little bit like Schick. I think Schick is worth up to about 35 to 40 million. I think En-Nesyri could be worth around that as well. But 50 million just seems a little bit extreme. But who knows? The only other thing I want to briefly talk about tonight is Duje Caleta-Car. Now I talked about him earlier in the show this afternoon. Uh, there's an awful lot of speculation circling around that we are very close to doing a deal for him. Who knows? I mean, again, another very good player. If you compare him to what we have, I think he would fit in perfectly. Even though he's right-footed, he's a left. He can play on the left side of central defence, and it's quite possible that Caleta-Car could be a player walking through the door. We need players, don't we? 15 odd million pounds for him would be a bit of a snip, to be honest with you, with still a year and a half left of his contract at Marseille. There are other players, Bamba Dieng of Marseille, but he's not a 50 million pound striker. There are loads of strikers. Borja, I think we talked about earlier. Broja, sorry, we talked about earlier today. You know, a possibility as well, but he's not a 50 million pound striker either. So if you're trying to evaluate this, if you're trying to evaluate, you know, who could we bid 50 million pound for? Then there are only really a handful of players. There's got to be, might be someone out there that we've not yet heard of. You know, mention that has yet to be mentioned. But of the ones that we're kind of aware of, Calvert-Lewin, would you pay £50 million for Calvert-Lewin, given that he's got Premier League experience? Patrick Schick, you know, good player, but again, 50 million seems a little bit too much. And then, as I said, El-Nesyri, again, I think 50 million would be a little bit too much, but who knows? Let's have a look at the chat, because I've got to get ready for the evening show with the lads on Claret and Booze later on. So let's see who's in, and let's conclude before we go off. Cloud Rains FS. What do you mean, mate? Good afternoon. Good evening to you, Howard. Howard, I'm graying. I'm a graying old hippie, but I did have to Google it. Good film. Oh, okay. Oh, you lot are talking about films. Good evening, Andy. I hope everyone is well. We're all well. We would like someone to actually come into the club as a transfer, wouldn't we? And I did a show earlier on this afternoon, comparing, you know, some of the transfers that we're listed against to our young players, our youth academy, and wondering if any of the under 23s might make up some of the areas in the squad that we're missing on. Howard still is doing Claret and Blues at. I'm assuming it's no. Here I am. Here I am. Good evening, Adam. How are you, Father Snowman? Russ is doing it. Oh, is Russ doing a show at 9 o'clock? I didn't know that, actually. Howard, multiple shows. We are blessed. Does this mean we're confirmed signings? It means nothing of the sort. Andy, I've no idea who this guy, but name sounds top notch. El-Nesyri, he was linked to us last summer. Apparently, we put in a bid for him, but it was turned down. And El-Nesyri apparently said he didn't want to come to West Ham. But then, you know, why would you come to West Ham, with the greatest of respect, if your team is about to play Champions League football? Kind of get that. Howard, I'm sure West Ham covered him back in 2010 when we first got. I'm sure I did a show about him then. Devon, it's Patrick Schick 100%. Well, if it's Patrick Schick, I will be delighted, because Schick is a very, very good player. But like I said, you know, Leverkusen are doing really, really well in the Bundesliga at the moment. Leverkusen is still in European football, but I'll tell you what, if it is a £50 million for Schick, I think we'd have done very, very well. He's got a contract with Leverkusen until 2025. He's 25 years of age. I mean, you know, he is a quality player. But I'd like it to be honest with you, Devon. Howard, my money is on Lingardinho and Duje Caleta-Car before the window closes. Well, if you watched the show, oh no, you missed it earlier, didn't you? Because I did talk about Lingard. I think we're still in for him. I think we're still holding out hope for him. It's just a matter of what deal we can do with Man United. But I also said earlier on, you know, there's the only problem with this is, of course, that Man United don't want to strengthen West Ham United, you know, because now they see us as a possible threat. Caleta-Car, as I said, the rumour mill is going mad on Caleta-Car at the moment. I would love him to come to West Ham. I think it would be fantastic for us. I think he will fit in really well with the club. Him alongside Zuma, I think, would be fantastic. I said about earlier today in the show his physique, his style of play, etc. You know, built for the English game. He's a good old-fashioned defender with modern-day technique. So he gets his foot in there. He loves the odd slide tackle. The only thing, as I said earlier in the show today, was about some of the challenges he makes. You know, he does get yellow cards. You know, could be a bit of a hindrance in the Premier League, but he's all in there. He's a good old-fashioned defender. But the modern game part of him is he can drive the ball out from defence. He doesn't have a problem with carrying the ball out. He's good on his feet, despite the fact that he's 6'4". He's very good with his feet, and he's also a very good passer of the ball as well. So yeah, fingers crossed. You know, we can only hope. Who else we got? Lingard has to force a move. Yeah, I said that earlier on, mate, didn't I? I think he should put a transfer in request in. It's old fashioned. It's not the dumb thing these days, but you know, maybe that's the only way he's going to get a move. Ryan, if it's En-Nesyri we bid for, Moyes is just bidding for the sake of bidding. He doesn't want to come. Mentioned that earlier on as well. Snowman, see the ticket for the Europe. Yeah, they are. Some prices. I know. Yeah, affordable football. There you go. Adam, Lingard isn't coming to us in this window, and if he helps keep Newcastle up, he won't be coming at all. He ain't going to Newcastle, mate. I doubt it very, very much. Howard, Sky was saying Man U want. They can't. There's no way. £16.5 million for 6 months. That's rubbish. That's utter nonsense. Good evening to you, Helen. I hope you're well. Kenny M, we say saw we bid for. No, we haven't, mate. We have absolutely not bid for Rafinha. That is just one of the worst stories that are out there at the moment. I'm really shocked about that. And Sam Johnson, yes, he's fallen out at West Brom. And I think what we're waiting for him to come on a free at the end of the season. I don't think we're going to be looking at bidding for a goalkeeper in this transfer window. I'd be very surprised. Good evening, Gary. How are you? Aaron, I was hoping it was Andy Carroll. Then we see he went to West Brom. Yeah. No problem there at all. Adam, good show. Thank you very much, mate. Mark, Jonathan David, that's a good shout because he hasn't been mentioned for a while. Jonathan David, and that would be nice if we got him, wouldn't it? So let me see if I can bring up his details. If you just bear with me 1 second, because I did mention him some time back. So let me see if I've got the slide available. See, I should be much more organised. God, how long ago did I talk about Jonathan David? It was probably about 2 weeks ago, I think. So I'm going to have to look quite far in. Let me see. I can't find it. No worries. But I'm not sure. That's a good shout. I completely forgot about him, mate, to be quite honest with you. Schick sounds like Hilaire Mark II. Does he? Why? Why would you say that? I'm not so sure. I think Schick is a good player. He moves around a little bit more than Hilaire does, and that's the problem that we had with Hilaire. Dave, good evening to you, mate. I hope you're well. James, I hope you're well. What did I say, Dabs? It's pronounced El. Well, is it El-Nesyri? El-Nesyri. El-Nesyri. There you go. Anil, Morocco v Egypt on Sunday. Do we want Egypt to win? Does it matter? I don't know. 40. I bet the 50 mil was the league's. No, there's no way we're going to bid £50 million for him. No way. I'd be very, very surprised. Looks like we have money to spend, Nick. Mick, good evening to you. Last chance to make Champions League before they sell up, perhaps. Even if we get players in, I still don't think, it's still going to be difficult to get into the Champions League, even if we do have players coming in. Garino, Tikite is the one we're linked with now. We are, but he's not 50 mil, mate. So I'm trying to work out who the 50 mil player is. BRDC, why do you always leave it to the last 2 days? It is annoying, but it is the way it is. Sooner play Oko Flex, yeah. If you saw the show earlier, I talked about him quite a lot. David, we bid 60 mil for En-Nesyri. Why is it widely reported we're in for Ekitike? Well, Ekitike is not £50 million player. Yes, we probably, if we're interested in him, 25 mil maybe for him, something like that. He's quite raw. He's quite young. He's certainly not 50 mil at the moment. That would be 2 strikers, so something's not adding up. Caleta-Car might be close. Diop to Newcastle. Yeah, heard about the up going to Newcastle. Finn, good evening, Finn. How are you? Do you think there could be no transfers at all? Very, very likely. And I know your dad has written an article that suggested that there may not be any transfers. It is very, very likely. Moyes is kind of like, he said, I'm trying really hard, but nothing may happen. Thank you for joining in, Finn, by the way. BRDC, have you seen on Sky Sports we've been linked? Yeah, we have. That's total tosh. I mean, that's lazy journalism. Mick, imagining they can sell up, we can promise you Champions League and delivered. Yeah, and then they'll go. Garino. Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian tweeted that Caleta-Car is not close at the moment. See, it depends on what you read. Some newspapers and social media columns are saying, yes, it is close, and other ones are saying, no, it's not. A kid's Kate worth about 40 mil. No, he ain't, Adam. He's a young, raw talent, and he's I think it's his first full season at the moment. So I just cannot believe that he'll be worth that much money. Bill, gambling 50 mil on a deal so close to the end of the window is madness and a sign of desperation. Depends on who the player is, doesn't it? It really does. 40. We're keeping an eye on him, apparently, if he don't extend his contract. Who doesn't extend his contract? Patrick. Afternoon all. Going back to start from beginning of the video. You do that, mate, because I'm almost finished. Ian, if we get Caleta-Car, it would be a cinch. It would be a cinch. Alfie, good evening to you. See us signing Caleta-Car and a big attacker. Love Caleta-Car to come in. And El-Nesyri may be the one that could be the £50 million mystery bid. Good evening, Richard. I hope you and Jake are well. David, we have to get someone, or Rice will be gone on a mic cry. Rice will stay another season. I'm pretty certain of that. And then he might go at the end of next season. We can get 2 or 3 players for 50 mil. Moyes definitely can, Mark, without a shadow of a doubt. Good evening, Jim. I hope you're well. Alfie, is it worth getting excited over the bid? If it was rejected instantly, so the selling club probably wants 60 or 70 million. Could it then be Calvert-Lewin for 60 million? Kenny, we're bidding for everyone again, just like the last windows. We know we are massive, as the rumours suggest. Are we bidding for anyone, though? West Ham, Mick, West Ham hold a strong interest. Yeah, I've read it. And I will it sell for the right price. Brilliant style, open for a move. Not for 50 mil, though, mate. Honestly, I doubt it very much. Right, okay, that's it. That's me done. It was short and sweet. Thank you all for watching. Do watch the show that was done earlier on. Catch me on Claret and Booze later on at 9 o'clock. They're going to get twitchy because I'm still on this. And we'll see you again very soon. Thank you for joining.